Steph finishes with 50 in this one on 20 of 38 shooting, 7 of 18 from three, missed a couple of free throws again, which was a little bit odd, and at times it felt as if the Warriors were going to get burned potentially by their inability to consistently make free throws in this game. They finished 19 of 30, and the Kings led by 1 at the end of the first quarter. Sacramento was up 2 at the half, but the Warriors put the clamps down in the third, and it was a couple of different plays for the Warriors as they took control of this one. It was the get the ball to Steph Curry play, and it was the Steph Curry go get the ball play. And he ends up with 50, again, the most ever in a Game 7, surpassing Kevin Durant's 48. Dominique Wilkins and Sam Jones each had 47 going back through the annals of NBA history. And the Warriors are moving on as they win 120-100 in a game that looked like it was going to be just no chance that the Warriors were going to be able to escape Sacramento without some semblance of drama. But the Warriors able to get it done here with the defense and the incredible performance by Steph and Curry, just the second player of age 35 or older to score 200 points in a playoff series. Michael Jordan, the only other. And so when you just look at this performance in the annals of all-time great performances, not only this game with the 50 in the closeout do or die, but just this series. And it's funny, I was texting back and forth with some media members from Sacramento over the last couple of days as the series ended up tied at 3 games apiece, and just going through who the best player in the series was. And I think you could make the case through the first 2 games it was De'Aaron Fox, and then with the series tied at 2-2, the Warriors go back to chase and even things up, and then it was Curry. Warriors come into Golden One Center and take the 3-2 lead, and it's Curry at that point, given the fact that he had been so outstanding in the 3 wins, plus he was pretty good in the 2 losses. Kind of a toss-up after Game 6, and what a clunker the Warriors laid up there. But Steph and Curry with a bullet, hands down, best player of the series and maybe the best player of the first round of the playoffs altogether with the 200 points. Again, most in a playoff series and just the second player ever age 35 or older to score 200 points in a playoff series as Michael Jordan in the 98 finals against Utah and the Eastern Conference finals against Indiana, able to do that in both of those series. So 888-957-9570, 888-957-9570. Steph Curry, the last becoming the latest Warrior to score 50 in a playoff game. Kevin Durant did it 4 years ago in L.A. as the Warriors dispatched of the Clippers in that first-round series. And then you look at Steph becoming the 5th Warrior to score at least 50 points in a playoff game, joining, and this is some unbelievable company, Durant, who we just mentioned, doing it against L.A., Wilt Chamberlain, who did it 4 times, Rick Barry, of course, the Hall of Famer, the all-time great and champion in his own right, and then Eric Sleepy Floyd, who did it in the Sleepy Floyd is Superman game back in the 1987 playoffs against the Lakers. And that is who the Lakers, or the Warriors now, will face, is those Lakers. And the Dubs checking off some boxes here as they start to move forward this playoff ladder. Had never played Sacramento in their decade-plus long run in the playoffs, and now they're going to play the Lakers for the first time in this decade-plus long run, leaving only Phoenix and Minnesota now as teams that the Warriors have not faced in postseason play here during their run of dominance going all the way back to 2013. 888-957-9570. What can you say about Steph Curry and his performance in this one? Some other thoughts just on the game to kind of set the table here while the phone calls and the text messages start to load in here. And we will hear from Steph. We'll hear from Steve Kerr. We'll hear from Klay Thompson in the interview room here in Golden One Center as the Warriors able to get that win. But some thoughts. First quarter, Draymond Green back in the starting lineup. Steve Kerr making that adjustment. And the Warriors, you could tell, were much more patient right from the start, running their offense to completion, getting a dunk for Kevon Looney on the first play, but then a little bit impatient after that. But the Warriors able to, for the most part, withstand a little bit of a push from Sacramento off the top. They limited their turnovers in this game. Story of the game for the Warriors, 7 turnovers. And so they did not give away the extra possessions. They did not give away getting crushed on the offensive boards, as they ended up with. And not only did they not get crushed on the boards, but they wind up with 18 offensive rebounds themselves. And the aggressor and the team that controlled that possession game was basically the victor in all of these games in the 7-game series. And the Warriors able to do it in this one. Patience. They fixed some of their spacing issues. We talked about, hey, were the Warriors not locked in or thrown off by the adjustments that Sacramento made in Game 6? Or were they fatigued? And if they were fatigued, that didn't bode well for the quick turnaround and playing on the road where the Warriors had struggled so much in the regular season. But they fixed the spacing, they cut down on the turnovers, they were patient in running their offense, and they handled the boards. And Kevon Looney was a freaking monster in this game. Again, third time in this series for Looney to have 20 or more rebounds. He had 21 boards and 10 on the offensive glass, including some backbreakers that I think broke the Kings' spirit in the third quarter as the Warriors ramped up the defense, but the Kings were kind of hanging around because the Warriors, other than Curry, couldn't really hit a shot at that point. And the Warriors were getting to the free throw line, but missing their free throws as well. And so it just had the feel of a game that was just kind of hanging there for Sacramento. And we've seen all throughout this series how the Kings can hit you with a quick 6-0, 8-0 run, and the game was right there in that 7 to 10 point range. And you were thinking to yourself, is that going to, as this game heads down the fourth quarter stretch, hurt the Warriors, their inability to stick a couple of buckets, their inability to get to the free throw line and make their free throws. But it was just Looney continuing to dominate on the glass. And that coupled with Steph Curry, a timely Klay Thompson 4-point play at the end of quarter number 3 that gave the Warriors, I think, the separation they probably earned for the way they played defensively and rebounded the basketball in that third quarter. So you looked up after 3, and the Warriors were still, at that point, up 10 going to the fourth quarter. And so it felt like there was enough breathing room to where if they could continue to lay on it and do what they've been doing through that third quarter, that they'd be able to carry that home to victory, and the Warriors able to carry it home to victory and carry it home to victory without much drama. Mike Brown calling off the dogs, waving the white flag. It was all handshakes and hugs and smiles. And I think Steph and Curry leaving Golden One Center basically not stunned. I think it was a Kings fan base obviously celebrating what was an unforeseen year in being the 3rd seed in the Western Conference and winning their 48 games. But I think Curry just left everybody's jaw agape that was at Golden One Center in this one. And I think it was just based on the fact that Steph was able to do what Steph did. I mean, I think that the home fan base in Sac was kind of thinking, wow, like got beat by an all-time legendary performance, 50 points from Steph Curry, and just incredible. Just an incredible, all-time great, historic, one of those when you look back in the history of the Warriors and their dynastic run, you're going to say and think to yourself, where was I when I watched Stephen Curry do this or that? And I think the Kings fans and the Warrior fans that were either in the building or watching this game, that's going to be a lasting memory, I think, from this series as the Warriors take it 4-3. So 888-957-9570, 888-957-9570. How you feeling, Warrior fans, as the Dubs get the job done, 120-100? I think everybody's probably breathing a collective sigh of relief among the Warrior fan base, considering the fact that it did feel as if the Warriors had a clampdown on this series after Game 5, but we all probably should have known better with the Warriors and the way that they've played over the course of this season, that just when you thought they had it, they were going to make you think they didn't. But the champion's blood and the DNA and the pedigree, all of that was very much there, and I think you saw the Kings get a little bit panicked, a little bit tight in that third quarter as the Warriors put the clamp down, and they were able to gain some separation that ultimately allowed them to prevail. So 888-957-9570. We'll start with Frank in San Rafael here on 95.7 The Game. Hey, Frank.
Wow, what an amazing game. I'm a 60-year-old man, and I loved the Warriors my whole life since, like, Rick Barry. And the Warriors brought me back to liking again because, I kind of stopped watching it after Michael Jordan retired. I don't know why, but I'm a huge Warrior fan, and I'm so happy for them that they're going to probably win the NBA championship. They're just a class act organization. I'm not surprised because they got Kerr, who's like the Spurs and the Bulls all in one. It's amazing. I'm happy for the whole Bay Area.
Thanks for the call. Appreciate it. I don't know about going and winning the NBA championship. I think it's one step at a time at this point, but everybody that watched this game witnessed something incredibly historic and special that Steph Curry put out there in an elimination game, do or die, most points ever scored in a Game 7 in NBA history, and Steph just rising to the occasion. He refused, along with a gritty performance by his teammates led by Kevon Looney and Draymond Green, and we'll get to Klay Thompson, who didn't shoot it well and wasn't playing well for a second consecutive Sunday, but ended up doing a lot of the other things to help his team win, even though he was 4 of 19 at the end of this one. But yeah, just a special performance witnessed by everybody. Let's go to Chandler in Alameda, who's next here on 95.7 The Game. Hey, Chandler, good Sunday afternoon to you.
Yes, to you too. I want to tell you that I was the only girl on a basketball team back in the 50s. Now,
okay,
about 8 months ago, I wrote myself a list of heroes. It's a short list, 5 people on it. My mom, Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, Nelson Mandela, and Stephen Curry. I lost my partner 8 months ago, a 64-year relationship. I used my heroes to motivate myself to get through it, to get through the loss. Today, I've added a 6th person to my list, Gary Payton. I saw his photograph several weeks ago in the San Francisco Chronicle. I saw that photograph and I said to myself, wow, that is the picture of happiness. I cut it out and I stuck it where I keep my other heroes that I look at every day. Today, Gary Payton, to me, showed the magic, the source of the magic. There was a second photograph of him that day in the Chronicle, and I looked at that second photograph and I also cut it out. I said to myself, that is the look of absolute focused determination. Today I heard it, I listened on my Bose radio system, and I saw Gary Payton try and not succeed. And then I saw him 2 more times try to give that support to Stephen Curry. And that time, the second photograph spoke to me, and I said, there's the source of the magic. I saw a movie a long time ago called A Midsummer Night's Dream, in which Mickey Rooney played the part of a little sparkling sprite, flitting about throughout the entire movie. And I'll never forget that performance. You guys, go see A Midsummer Night's Dream. There you'll see the source of the magic. Now, I have two champions on my list, and I can't thank everybody enough for being there for these guys, all of them. This is the magic of life, and that is all I have to say.
Chandler, thank you so much for calling in. Really appreciate it. So sorry for your loss about your partner. And you add Gary Payton II to your list of heroes to go with Steph Curry and your mom and others. Terrific stuff. I thought you were going to add Kevon Looney as well to it. But what a heartfelt sentiment here as the Warriors get the win and move on to the second round of the playoffs. Chandler, you can feel free to call me anytime here on Warriors Wrap Up, and I appreciate you listening, and we, of course, appreciate you listening here on 95.7 The Game. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and enjoy the next round as the Warriors are going on to take on the Lakers in round 2, and it's going to come quick, fast, and in a hurry for the Warriors as they'll get about 48 hours plus a few to get back to the Bay and probably take a day off to gear up and prep for the Lakers, and then the Warriors and the Lakers at 7 o'clock from Chase Center. That's right. The Warriors are going to end up with home court advantage in the second round of the playoffs because they are the 6th seed and the Lakers are the 7th seed. And so you look at Denver and Phoenix, who got their series underway last night, with Denver taking it to the Suns, the Nuggets, the number 1 overall seed in the Western Conference, and the Lakers and Warriors are going to go at it in the other side of the bracket. And that is a 6 versus 7. Saw the note here that the first time in NBA history since they went to the 16-team playoff format in 1984, the round of 8 has one team that's each seed, 1 through 8. Denver being the 1. In the East, you've got Boston and Philly, 2, 3. You've got Phoenix, the 4 seed, coming out of the West. And then you've got the Knicks, who were the 5 in the East, the Warriors and Lakers 6, 7 in the West, and then Miami with their upset of Milwaukee was the 8 in the East. So if you combine them all together, you've got 1 of each seed here in the round of 8. And so the Warriors in the 6, 7 means the Dubs get home court advantage against LeBron and the Lakers. And wow, that's going to be a hell of a series. You want to weigh in on your thoughts on the next series? I might be a little spent from this series to do that in too much depth. I almost need that day to kind of gear up for it. But if you want to weigh in on that, feel free to do it at 888-957-9570. But the Lakers remade their team. You know, the Lakers were a bad basketball team at the trade deadline. They revamped their team. They've been a much better basketball team since then. And that should be a hell of a series with Steph versus LeBron in the playoffs for the 5th time, going back to those 4 prior NBA Finals matchups from 2015 to 18, where Steph and the Warriors got the jump on LeBron, and then the Cavaliers winning 3 out of 4. 888-957-9570. Back to the phones we go. Philmo Mike, the only man that can follow the beautiful Chandler in Alameda. Philmo, you're on 95.7 The Game on Warriors Wrap Up. Isn't this the beauty? Isn't this the beauty of radio, my man? It's all people. It's all people from all different kind of lifestyles and backgrounds and ages chiming in and being Warrior fans and enjoying a victory. What's going on, Philmo?
Hey, you know what? You're right. You're right about that, JD, but we got to keep it real. The Warrior fans is one hell of a people. Monte fans come together, but it's nothing like you always said. When Steph Curry make a shot, everybody get louder. Like, it's crazy. He brought everybody together, and it's him that's bringing everybody together. And he's like a Jordan. Like, he's like Jordan, blood. Like, straight up. It's like, you talk to people that don't know nothing about basketball, they're going to say, well, he could dunk, and he's hella tall. It's easy for him. When I see Curry play, he's 35 feet away and making a shot. It looks harder. He's a joy to watch.
Hey, Philmo, I'm going to jump in here real quick, Philmo. I'll let you finish your call. I can't tell you, just to your point, I can't tell you how many text messages. I must have had 18 text messages between the time the game ended and going down to the press conference and starting this show from all kinds of friends that don't even watch basketball, aren't even hardcore sports fans, that were like, and every single one of the texts, Philmo, was Curry, Jesus, my God, Curry, oh my God, Curry. Like, it was like, dude, Curry. Like, I had like 18 or 20 of them. Again, not even from close friends, but just people knowing what I do and that happen to be watching the game that aren't even hardcore or even Warrior fans that took the time and appreciated the greatness that they were watching.
Oh, my God. It's just crazy. He just brings everybody together. And for LeBron and Curry to me, all I'm going to say is this. It's going to be a legacy-defining series because that's what happened. It was supposed to be LeBron era. He ended up sticking around, and it's him and Curry era, man, because everybody want to see it. It's crazy. Thank you, JD, man. Keep doing your thing.
Appreciate it, Phil Mo. 888-957-9570. I think Curry and LeBron's legacies are pretty well cemented at this point, but it's going to be a lot of fun, and that's going to be a ratings bonanza. If you think the Warriors-Kings series was a ratings bonanza based on how competitive it was for 7 games, look out, because these next potential 7 over 2 weeks are going to be absolutely incredible from that standpoint, and it all gets tipped off on Tuesday, and we'll have it all for you right here on 95.7 The Game. Let's go to Sophomore in Pacifica next on Warriors Wrap-Up. Hey, Sophomore, you're on with the JD here from Sacramento.
Hey, JD. First of all, great job on handling things at every level. You know, real life is going on while sports are going on, and they all overlap sometimes. So I appreciate how you dealt with that so sensitively. To go to an earlier comment, though, like, people talking now about how the Warriors are destined to win the championship aren't understanding what's going on. This is the biggest uphill climb the Warriors have had in a long time, and every game they win and any and every series they win, we gotta just relax and appreciate it. They are getting older. This team doesn't gel the way the team did last year, and every time they win, it's a small miracle, welcome, and we just need to lean back and appreciate it. If we get to see the final, we and they are all lucky people, and we should enjoy but also respect what they're accomplishing in the face of a lot of odds.
Thanks, Sophomore. No, that's an excellent point. And you're right. Appreciate the win, appreciate the series, appreciate the tugs and pulls and the ups and downs that this one gave everybody over the course of the last 16 days. This series went almost basically 21 days since we knew the matchup. You got to go all the way back to the end of the regular season on that Sunday 3 weeks ago today, about 3:15. The Suns ended up losing to the Clippers. The Clippers were going to play Phoenix. The Kings were going to play the Warriors. And so we basically knew this series was going to be for 3 weeks from start to finish. Had the long lead up, had the back and forth with the Warriors dropping the first 2. And I've got a note on the Warriors dropping the first 2, but still coming back to win the series, which is a hell of an impressive one. But I'm with you. I think we have to slow our roll, at least for a day or two, on the whole Warriors are going to win the title thing. Like, we may very well get there over the course of the next 2 weeks to a month to 6 weeks, but we got a long way to go. The NBA Finals don't start for a month plus a few days. And the Warriors are going to have to win 2 series. And here's the thing. This series the Warriors were ragged tired at the end of this one. And they had to play all 7, and they haven't had to do that in the first round before. Hell, they'd only had to do it 3 other times, period, before, and one of them was in the finals at the very end. So this series will take a piece of the Warriors. The next series, if the Warriors are able to win it, will take a piece of the Warriors. But it really isn't even about that. It's about just appreciating, I think, how long this team can just continue to keep on playing. This is kind of an underdog run in many ways, even though the Warriors are maybe a slight favorite going into the second round series and the team that will have the home court advantage. So, I get it. Warrior fans want to feel great thoughts and think and believe, and that's great, believe. But it can't be, hey, amazing first round series win. Now it's back to winning the title. I'm with you 100%. I mean, these games are going to come fast and furious in the next round, and we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But the one thing the Warriors have been able to do is get themselves a hell of a chance to get the next one, which begins here in about 51 hours. One wheel Phil at Chase Center next here on 95.7 The Game. One Wheel Phil, you enjoying the watch party this afternoon?
Oh, yes, JD, man. Good to hear your point of view on the air today and always, of course. So thank you for that. I was at the watch party. I'm at every watch party or game, outside or inside. But today in particular, it was really, really lit out there, man. It was really lit. It was max. It was full to capacity. And the energy was there, and we celebrated. We're on to the next round. I agree with Fillmore on the Steph thing. Like, totally. Like, Steph Curry he just brings everybody together. I mean, it's crazy. Like, I went to Mexico, you know what I mean? And I was wearing a Warriors hat, and they're like, "Oh, Steph Curry, Steph Curry, Steph Curry," you know. So like, he's just so galvanizing, you know what I mean? Yep, he brings everybody together. And then my comments on the Lakers series, I feel like Sacramento was like our toughest match. Yeah, I don't know. I think we're better matched versus the Lakers. So I'll take your comments off air. Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate it. I mean, the Kings do put pressure on you in very different ways with their relentless offense. Now, defensively, they stepped up in a big-time way, I think, to a greater level than anybody would have anticipated possible. But that relentless pressure and the Mike Brown factor of knowing the Warriors so well, I've kind of filed that thought away, Phil. I really have. The thought that maybe the next series does, in some ways, wind up looking a little bit easier. But look, the Lakers have LeBron. Anthony Davis is a monster defensively. They've got a lot of length and wings and defenders themselves that can make life difficult on the Warriors. So they're going to have to get more out of their bench than they did in this series. They're going to have to get better performances out of Klay Thompson and Andrew Wiggins offensively than they did, I think, in this series. Although today and throughout this series, the competitive spirit, the Warriors did not shoot the ball well today, 43 of 100, especially aside from Stephen Curry. You take him out of the equation with his 20 of 38 and 7 of 18 from 3, and they really didn't shoot it well collectively. That's going to have to be better in the next series as the Warriors get tireder and the like. But I hear what you're saying about Sacramento, and as far as Steph just bringing everybody together, no doubt. He brings the whole thing together even when the rest of it looks like it's about to just spring apart at the seams and flail off into oblivion. So big time, legendary, historic, all-time great performance from Wardell, Stephen Curry. John in San Francisco, 888-957-9570 before we pause. What's going on, John? We lost John. Let's go to Josh. Let's sneak in Josh in San Jose. Hey, Josh.
Hey, Will, what's up?
What's up, man? What's on your mind?
How are you feeling about this game?
Feel great. How are you feeling about this game, Josh? You called me, brother.
I'm hyped up. Curry doing all of this at a late age of, like, I believe he's 35. Like, most guys are, like, probably worn down at that point. But I think the real MVP of this series is Kevon Looney. He deserves his jersey to get purchased. That is, without him, Curry can go for 50, he can go for 40, but without those rebounds Kevon Looney gives, there was no Curry scoring 50 or 40.
You got that right. Kevon Looney was incredible, and you look at, and I got this note from Elias here, Warriors with 3 or more 20-rebound games in a single playoff series. Think about this. There have been 3 Warriors that have had 20 or more rebounds in 3 different games of a playoff series. Wilt Chamberlain, Nate Thurmond, and Kevon Looney. I mean, third time he hits the 20-rebound plateau, and the Warriors needed every bit of it because the aggressor and the team who controlled the boards in individual games won the series. And it's happened just 69 times in NBA history, a player that's had 3 or more 20-rebound games in a single playoff series. Dwight Howard was the last player to do it in the NBA period, and that was 15 years ago. He did it in the first round with Orlando, and he did it 3 games in that series. So Kevon Looney, and you're going to want to hear what Steve Kerr had to say about Loon and just his lot in terms of NBA centers. 888-957-9570. Secret sauce of the game brought to you by Proposition Chicken. Chicken goes 3 ways, fried, flipped, and fake. Now available in 9 Bay Area locations. Or order now at propositionchicken.com. What can you say about Wardell, Stephen Curry, the most points ever scored in a Game 7 in playoff history? 50 for Steph, 20 of 38. He was the secret sauce for the Warriors in this one. 7 of 18 from 3. and he enables the Warriors to move on to the second round. Kevon Looney, the 21 rebounds we mentioned too, hat tip to Loon, and the Warriors' defense in the second half in particular, they held Sacramento to 42 points in the second half. Warriors dominate 64-42 in the second half. From down 2, they win by 20 to move on, win this best-of-7 series 4-3. All right, we'll come back. We'll get back to the phones. We'll hear from Steve Kerr and Steph and Clay. Warriors win at 120-100, and you heard it right here on 95.7 The Game.
So what are you reading?
I'm checking out the ratings on the new TVs, and it looks like Samsung, LG, and Sony got the best scores.
Just like last year. What about those new high dynamic range TVs?
They got the highest scores of all, but their prices are really high.
Did you check online?
Yeah, their prices were about the same.
Well, there's one place where we can get a hot deal on those top-rated models.
Where?
At Video Only. Check out the ratings on TV stores.
I see. Video Only scored better than the others.
So, if you want the best deal on the best TVs,
then we should take our TV ratings and head over to top-rated Video Only.
At Video Only, you won't find huge stores with refrigerators or microwaves, but you will find the best deals on top-rated TVs, soundbars, and monitors. Shop around. Just make sure you visit Video Only, because if you don't,
you'll be sorry.
In Mountain View, San Mateo, Union City, Dublin, and San Rafael. Video Only.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? Just go to 4hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, and the process is 100% online. To start your free online visit, go to 4hims.com/joy. That's FORHIMS.com/JOY.
This is an important notice to consumers facing $10,000 or more in credit card debt, medical bills, or other unsecured debt. You may not be required to pay it all back because there are special programs now in effect that will significantly reduce the amount you will owe if you qualify. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. These programs, which the credit card companies like to keep secret, exist to aid American consumers struggling with overwhelming credit card debt by offering tremendous savings and real debt relief. Accredited Debt Relief has established a special hotline for you to call and learn what savings you qualify for. They've helped qualify consumers with over $1 billion in debt and are A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. So don't wait. Get the relief you need during these hard economic times. For this free information, call the Accredited Debt Relief Hotline now. Call 800-330-2900. 800-330-2900. That's 800-330-2900.
Find what you love at the Mila Innovation Center at Friedman's Appliance in Pleasant Hill. Out of your dreams and into your kitchen, select the qualifying built-in kitchen appliance package that's right for you. With unrivaled technology and luxury-grade quality, when you bring home a Mila, you're bringing home true innovation. Now, for a limited time, save up to $2,100 with the purchase of a qualifying Mila appliance package. Visit the Mila Innovation Center at Friedman's Appliance in Pleasant Hill or at friedmansappliance.com.
Can you imagine a rainbow of flowers?
In a crystal blue sky.
Filled with music.
And all your friends are there.
And everyone is laughing with joy.
And the whole world is clean and sparkling and singing like Camaraderie.
Put on your wings and fly.
Invite us to your house.
We'll only be there a few minutes.
Our clean and shiny trucks haul away your distractions.
And leave your home sparkling with joy.
All you have to do is point.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
Or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
Are you interested in new career opportunities in the Bay Area and want to make a difference in your community? The San Francisco Sheriff's Office is looking for people considering a job in law enforcement right now. If you're at least 20 years or older with a high school diploma or equivalent, the San Francisco Sheriff's Office wants to hear from you. Enjoy full benefits, flexible schedules, and opportunities for growth and promotion. For employment announcements and more information, visit sfsheriff.com. That's sfsheriff.com to apply today.
The Goodman Eye Center is proud to sponsor the playoff run on 95.7 The Game. We finished the season off strong, and you could start the summer off strong with 20/20 vision from Goodman Eye Center. If you need wavefront LASIK, lens implants, or cataract surgery, Dr. Goodman of the Goodman Eye Center is the choice of champions. So, if you'd like to watch the game with crystal clear vision without glasses or contacts, log on to GoodmanEyeCenter.com for a free consultation. That's GoodmanEyeCenter.com.
Comcast Business Complete Connectivity checks all the boxes. With cyber threat security, the largest, fastest, reliable network for small business, and save up to 75% a year with Comcast Business Mobile. Get started for just $49 a month for 12 months when you add mobile. Plus, ask about an $800 prepaid card. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Ends 5/21/23. Restrictions apply. Requires 2-year agreement, EcoBill, and AutoPay. New 100 megabits per second internet and security edge customers only. Equipment taxes and fees extra. Mobile savings compares pricing of top 3 carriers. Comcast Business, internet required.
Attention facility professionals, property managers, and building owners. Earn free education credits and network with the top professionals by attending the West Coast Buildings and Facilities Management Conference this May 23rd and 24th at the Alameda County Fairgrounds in Pleasanton. Sponsored by BOMA, IFMA, ABC, and NECA. This event is your one-stop shop for all things buildings and facilities throughout the Bay Area. Register to attend today and receive free lunch and parking. This event is free for all qualified professionals. Register online at proexpos.com. That's PROEXPOS.com.
Curry drives, scores, he's got 50! A 50-point playoff game for Stephen Curry in a Game 7.
Now back to Warriors Wrap-Up on 95.7 The Game.
Warriors beat the Kings 120-100. They take the series 4-3. John Dickinson back at Golden One Center in Sacramento. 888-957-9570, 888-957-9570. Warriors will take on the Lakers Tuesday, Game 1 of Round 2 from Chase in downtown San Francisco. Warriors with home court advantage in the old 6-7 matchup in the Western Conference second round. What an afternoon for Stephen Curry here in the state capital of California. 50 for Steph, a 50-piece, and Kevon Looney, 21 boards, a lot of great defense. Others really pitching in on the grit and grind for Golden State, and they escape and survive and advance to take on the Lakers. So LeBron and Steph going at it for a 5th time in the playoffs. Let's go to Ricky in Boston. Back to the phones we go. 888-957-9570. What's going on, Ricky?
What's going on, JD, man?
Unbelievable performance. I'm still kind of having that what did I just see like feeling here as we're making our way through the show this afternoon.
Yeah, man, that was ironic, man. That's like the greatest performance, what Curry did today, man. Single-hand performance, 50 points in Game 7, man. That was awesome to watch, man. Looney was playing like a 2.0 Dennis Rodman, grabbing every rebound, just being, a force down there. And, besides, he's giving you, 9 points this series, too? So he's scoring, so that's a plus. With Clay, man, I mean, that was just horrible to watch, man. As a Klay Thompson fan, I'm just kind of disappointed to see that, man. He was going, at one point, he was 1 for 10, as I believe, He had his little moments in the third quarter, but, he can't play like that, going, to the next round or even further possibly because they're just going to get exposed. Jeff Van Gundy on the broadcast said one thing about Clay. He's playing too casual. And at times he looks casual out there, man. He's just like, I don't know, it's just like, he's not really, I don't know, playing like he wants to play. He's just he looks lazy out there for some reason. And sometimes you just see him standing like a statue and not moving without the ball. And I told
Thanks, Ricky. Appreciate it. Sounds like we lost Ricky there. I don't know if it's casual. I think his style of play at times just looks casual, even when it's not casual. But offensively, they're going to need more from Klay Thompson if they're going to advance and win the next series, point blank. And, yeah, he was having an awful game at 1 of 10. He fell asleep on a couple of Sacramento offensive rebounds that gave the Kings extra possessions in the first half and a couple extra buckets in the first half. The defense wasn't totally there in the first half, although he was trying. But as the game went on, he locked in and did other things. So I don't know what the conversation was at halftime between the coaching staff and Clay, or whether Clay, who's a pretty sharp guy and understands what needs to be done on his own, once he's able to remove himself for a minute and think. He had an excellent floor game in the second half, even though he ends up 4 of 19. And look, the second half wasn't much better. He was 1 for 10. He ended up 3 for 9 in the second half, although the 4-point play at the end of the third quarter was massive to put the Warriors up 10, because it felt, as we talked about in the first segment, as if the Warriors were going to let the Kings off the hook. They're getting all these stops, stop after stop after stop. Looney's clearing the board. Looney's getting offensive rebounds after misses, and Wiggins can't make a layup. Clay can't make a jumper. Nobody could make anything. The Warriors are missing free throws. Steph's missing free throws. Clay's missing free throws. All of this stuff is going on. Wiggins is missing free throws, and the Warriors are getting the offensive rebound, and they just can't put the ball in the bucket. And that 3 at the end of the quarter, I was thinking, hey, if the Warriors are only up 4 going to the fourth quarter, or 6 going to the fourth quarter, that's trouble. But for him to bury that deep 3, and that was a deep one, that was about a 27, 28-footer, and get fouled by Terrence Davis and hit the free throw. And so the Warriors were up 10, and it felt like the score was indicative of how well the Warriors played in that quarter, and it ended up 35-23. But for a good chunk of it, it looked like the Warriors weren't going to quite make Sacramento pay. They did, and then they were able to put the game away in the fourth quarter, outscoring the Kings 29-19. But make no mistake, Clay has to be better. And he was going to be one of the talking points if things had gone the other way, for sure. But now you can breathe. You can move forward, and I think the Warriors will expect that they'll get a better performance from Clay here in the second round. Greg in Oakland next here on Warriors Wrap Up. What's going on, Greg?
Hey, how you doing? Can you hear me all right?
I got you loud and clear, Greg. What's on your mind?
Right on. Hey, I just had to say a big shout out to the fans of this whole series. This was just really, really wonderful to see jerseys standing next to jerseys and a real camaraderie around basketball. And I know we're neighbors, but I really hope that the larger basketball community and the larger sports community will look at this and go, wow, man, there's some fans enjoying the game together. And the last thing I want to say is I just was really touched by Chandler's call. And I want to throw down a challenge to the Warriors. I think Chandler deserves to have a signed number 30 jersey on her wall. That is really an example of bringing your heart to fandom, and it makes me really emotional. And I really want to give it to the Warriors organization and to the Kings, man. Just a great, great series. And I'll take any comment off there.
Yeah, thanks, Greg. I appreciate it. Yeah, Chandler and Alameda, who called earlier, it was just spectacular. I mean, her thoughts on just the connection between her life and her heroes and her experiences and this team. I mean, it really is the epitome of what sports are all about. And I'll be honest with you, it had me a little bit emotional too, Greg. A lot of people don't know, but I grew up, to your point on the camaraderie and everything around basketball. You may not know it, but some do that listen here. I mean, I grew up in Sacramento, and the first NBA game I ever went to was a Kings game. And, a lot of my family and friends were Kings fans. And I worked in Sacramento for a decade and covered the Kings, and before going to the Bay, and I've been in the Bay for the last 12 years. And, this series for me, on that note, as far as the camaraderie, and it got a little clunky at times. It got a little back and forth. It got a little heated, I thought, at times, at least between maybe the radio stations and personalities in both markets. And on social media, it can get ugly from time to time. And I think a few people got caught up in that, yours truly included. But I think at the end, cooler heads did prevail. And the ratings would tell you that the country loved this series. Now, whether that was some Warrior hate and people rooting for Sacramento because they wanted to see the Warriors go down, or Warrior love and Steph Curry love and the people that have attached themselves to Golden State over this last decade when they've been dominant and in dynasty mode, I think it was probably a little part of everything. I think the atmosphere in both buildings, especially the atmosphere here in Sacramento with the storyline behind the Kings fans not being in the playoffs for 17 years and playing the defending champs and their neighbors. And this was a series that, not only was it 38 years in the making, just based on the time that the Kings have been in Sacramento and these two teams never facing each other in the playoffs, they'd never even made the playoffs in the same year since the Kings moved in 1985. And I was a real little one at that point in time. And always have I been a lover of basketball and watched the Kings and watched the Warriors and listened to both teams on the radio over the years, because I was able to get both teams on the radio a lot. So I'll be honest, if not for the Kings, to put it perfectly bluntly, in my childhood, I probably wouldn't be talking to you and doing this show and being on the radio and having the career that I've been lucky enough to have here over the last 20 years, even still as a relatively young guy. So while we're all getting in our feelings and sharing our experiences a little bit, that's one I will say. I'm glad this series happened. I'm glad it played out. I got a lot of friends in both places, and it was just a lot of fun to see it be so dramatic and just so exciting and to have so many special moments. And yeah, we'll see about the Kings moving forward. I mean, who knows? They could be a team that could be quite good here moving forward with a lot of really terrific young players. 888-957-9570, 888-957-9570. Andrea in Berkeley next. What's up, Andrea?
How are you?
Or is it Andre? Oh, no, it is Andrea.
Hello.
Yeah. Hey, Andrea. Hey, Andrea.
Yes, I was going to say, great game for Steph. And I thought I'd share his sports astrology.
Let's do it.
Can you hear me? I know Mercury's retrograde.
I got you. I got you, Andrea. Yep,
okay,
I got you. What do you got?
Okay, so
go for it, real quick.
Born March 14, 1988, 1:51 p.m. in Akron, Ohio. Actually, the same hospital as LeBron James. How about that?
Right.
And
a little nugget for the next series.
He's an intuitive Pisces, and he's having a Jupiter return. John, this happens once every 12 years. Jupiter in Taurus, and Jupiter's about expansion, abundance, and good fortune. And obviously, he scored 50 points in the game today. That was awesome. That was an all-time record for Game 7. And this is Jupiter's like the Santa Claus of the zodiac. He makes things bigger, more, and better. So it's a cycle of abundance and expansion. And it's really perfect timing for what's happening. And he was very intuitive. He said earlier in the pregame, it's important to keep your composure. Don't let yourself be a victim of yesterday's game. And sure enough, he just, the beauty of the moment, the abundance just unfolded.
Yes, it did. And Warrior fans were able to enjoy it, and Sacramento fans had to deal with it, and it's the reason the Warriors are moving on and the Kings are going home. Good stuff from Andrea and Berkeley. I didn't know that Pisces is the Santa Claus of the zodiac. Interesting stuff here. But we're having a lot of different vibes on Warriors wrap up here. Good late Sunday afternoon. Take a deep breath, move on to the next series, celebratory type of a show here with Chandler checking in here earlier from Alameda, and Filmo and Greg and everybody else. So good stuff. Let's keep those vibes going with Anthony in Vallejo, and I'm told it's Anthony and Aria, your daughter. Your daughter is Aria, Anthony?
Yeah, it's me and Aria, my 10-year-old daughter. Woo! Hi.
Hey, Aria.
Hey, we wanted to ask. So Steph got a 40 points is a 40 burger, right? In sports terminology. If you get 50 points,
sure.
What is it? A filet mignon?
I think it. You know what? That I like that. It can be a 50 burger. It can also be a 50 piece. With maybe your chicken nuggets. It could be like your but I get chicken nuggets, burgers. It's still kind of in the same category. I like where you're going with filet mignon though, Anthony. But yeah, I think it's Giannis when he had 50 in the clinching game of the finals. I guess he went to McDonald's after the game and ordered a 50 piece, which was something that was kind of funny and went viral. So. Anthony, if you're still there, I think it's a 50 piece. So Warrior fans that want to celebrate, get yourself some Nuggy Nugs Get that 50 piece. Appreciate you calling. Appreciate Aria calling as well. Anthony, you still there? No, we lost. All right, we dropped Anthony. Manuel in Dublin, 888-957-9570. Manuel, appreciate you chiming in here on Warriors Wrap-Up with JD on 95.7 The Game. Hey, Manuel.
Hey, JD, man. You know, it did get a little touch and go with this series, man. I was super nervous. I mean, I thought that my concern level after Game 5 was at a peak. Excuse me, after Game 6. But you know, what the Warriors did is just championship DNA, like we've all said. Where there's so many Warrior fans that we get accustomed to this, but today was just unique. The way that you could tell Curry was gassed on. I thought he was a little gassed on Game 6, and then to come back and the way he played was just absolutely incredible. But I wanted to talk to you real quick. What do you see the matchups? I mean, who's going to guard LeBron? Is Looney going to be trying to get with Anthony Davis on the floor? I know Anthony Davis has been playing good. And then, you know, with D'Lo going to have a little juice with this series. I'm excited. And, of course, a little light commute with a 2-hour flight or hour-and-a-half flight to L.A., whatever it is. That favors for the Warriors getting a little rest. But what's the odds coming out now on this series? Who's favored in Game 1?
Yeah, let me look at it, Manuel. I hadn't gotten to that point. I know I've kind of joked that I might need a day to kind of get reoriented, but I'm looking at the early. I don't see the early line. Sterling, if you got the early line on Game 1, my app that I go to hasn't updated yet for Game 1 of Warriors-Lakers. So if you've got some of the odds on the series, feel free to put them in my ear, or even just crack the mic open and bring it to the table here. But yeah, LeBron, I mean, Wiggins is going to have to spend some time on LeBron. Draymond, obviously, will get some time on LeBron. The Warriors are going to have to put somebody on D'Lo that can cover. You know, Peyton will get some turns. I think Wiggins will get some turns there. I know, you know, the Warriors banished Jonathan Kuminga in this series, and rightfully so. And I know, you know, that's something that I mentioned even after Game 1 that I thought they were probably going to eventually have to do in this series, just not the series for him. But, you know, the one thing that Steve Kerr has said a lot is that each playoff series is kind of its own entity, and just because you don't play in one because of matchups as a role player or a bench player doesn't mean you're not going to play in the next one. And your call on LeBron and who gets a matchup, you know, Kuminga has played pretty well against LeBron defensively at times in the last 2 seasons since he's been in the NBA. So as much as Kuminga was not a fit in this series and someone that made himself unplayable in this series, I think the door opens again for Jonathan Kuminga to be able to play in the second round against the Lakers based on the types of players that LA puts out there. It's a less skilled team. It's a more defensive-oriented team, and I think Kuminga's athleticism and his wing size plays a lot better. He did not play as well in the Kings series because the Kings have a lot of skilled guys and not so much athletes. I think they have some athletes and some length, but Kuminga was really, I think, exposed a little bit by Mike Brown and the Kings system in this series. But the Lakers is a different story. That's more of you need the 6'8", 6'7", 6'8", you know, wing players that can really scrap and claw and have some physical strength to go up against what the Lakers put out there. So Kuminga not a fit for the Kings series. Kuminga, I do think, reemerges in this Lakers series, and we'll see if he's up to the challenge. 888-957-9570. Sterling chiming in here. Everything TBD, but the Action Network has the Warriors minus 164 odds to win the series, with the Lakers at plus 138 to win the series. Nothing formal on Game 1, which is going to take place at 7 o'clock on Tuesday at Chase Center. And by the way, you think this series was coming fast and furious with the final 3 games Wednesday, Friday, Sunday afternoon. This next series begins Tuesday night, and it is every other day for the duration. They go May 2nd, 4th, 6th, 8th, 10th, 12th, and 14th. That next series would end 2 weeks from today if it goes to a Game 7. And so once it starts, it's 7 games basically in 12 days. And every other day short trips and not a lot of travel, obviously the quick hour flights back and forth. But when your first round series goes 7, that means your next round series gets played every other day and so on and so forth. So that's going to be a new challenge for the Warriors that they haven't totally faced during their run as champions, because typically they're able to dispatch of teams much more quickly than they did in this series against Sacramento. But regardless, the Warriors are on to the second round. They beat the Kings 120-100 right here on 95.7 The Game. Joe in San Francisco next on Warriors Wrap-Up. Hey, Joe. Oh, we lost Joe. So 888-957-9570, 888-957-9570. Let's go ahead and get to our hardest worker of the game, which is brought to you by AC Transit.
Out to Wiggins above the break. Lets it fly. No good. Rebound Looney. Payton. The pool. Inside. Wiggins. Pump fake goes up. Flipped it on the rim. No good. Rebound Looney. Put back. Good.
Looney. Are you kidding?
Kevon Looney.
A ball magnet.
A ball magnet, and helping the Warriors in a big-time way win 2 games here in Sacramento. Game 5 and Game 7, both Looney games. I know today's going to go down as the Steph Curry game, and Klay Thompson coined it that in his post-game press conference, but the 2 games in Sacramento were also in many ways Kevon Looney games. And Kevon Looney, your hardest working player, 21 rebounds, and we had the note just a couple of minutes ago with the players that have gone for 20 or more boards 3 times in a playoff series. It's Wilt Chamberlain, Nate Thurmond, and Kevon Looney. Hadn't been done in the NBA since 2008 by anyone. Dwight Howard, the last player to do it. And so Kevon Looney thought about giving it to Steph, and he would have deserved it had he gotten it. But we're going to give the nod to Kevon Looney for the hardest working player of the game. Brought to you by AC Transit. AC Transit is looking for hard workers and is offering a $2,000 bonus for new bus operators and journey-level mechanics to join their team. For complete details and to apply, visit actransit.org/careers. That's actransit.org/careers. All right, 888-957-9570. If you want to weigh in on Game 7, you want to weigh in on the next series, we got some people that want to talk on the phone line, so we'll keep things rolling, but we'll go ahead and pause here. We'll let everybody catch our breath. We'll get back to it rapid fire. We'll hear from Steve Kerr and others in the post-game press conferences. Warriors are moving on. They win the series 4-3. They win Game 7 over the Kings 120-100, and you heard it all right here on 95.7 The Game.
The Goodman Eye Center is proud to sponsor the playoff run on 95.7 The Game. We finished the season off strong, and you could start the summer off strong with 20/20 vision from Goodman Eye Center. If you need wavefront LASIK, lens implants, or cataract surgery, Dr. Goodman of the Goodman Eye Center is the choice of champions. So, if you'd like to watch the game with crystal clear vision without glasses or contacts, log on to GoodmanEyeCenter.com for a free consultation. That's GoodmanEyeCenter.com.
Did you know that most people wait 6 or 7 years before they buy a new TV? That's a lot of time in front of one TV. So why not get one of the best sets for the next 7 years, like one of the top-rated Samsung, LG, or Sony models? Too expensive? What if you could get up to $1,000 trade-in for your old set? Who would do a stupid deal like this? Right now, at Video Only, you can get big bucks for your old set as a trade-in and a hot price on the new models. Don't be sorry. Check out Video Only.
O'Reilly. Improve visibility and save $8 instantly when you pick up a pair of Bosch Icon wiper blades at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Bosch Icon premium blades can help you see better and drive safer. And our professional parts people will install them for you for free. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts today or visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
At the United States Postal Service, we're reinventing our network to help keep your business moving. With new shipping options to deliver better value, greater flexibility to conveniently reach your customers, more confident shipping with new informed delivery features, and new electric vehicles for a cleaner, brighter future. Fast, reliable, perfectly orchestrated. The United States Postal Service, delivering for America. Learn more at USPS.com/moving forward.
Scott for Scott's here. You ever want to grow new grass faster,
Kind of like when you press the 2 times playback button on your podcast so you can speed through episodes, except at Scott's Turf Builder Rapid Grass, you're speeding your way from a thin and damaged lawn to a thicker, stronger one in just weeks. Bit too fast, maybe slow it down, okay. Let's just go back to normal speed.
Get a bag of Scott's Turf Builder Rapid Grass today. It grows grass 2 times faster than seed alone when applied at the new lawn rate, subject to proper care.
Feed your lawn. Feed it.
Getting to know yourself can be a lifelong process, especially since you're always growing and changing. But deepening your self-awareness is the key to a happier, more fulfilled life. Therapy is all about that process of self-discovery, because sometimes you don't know what you really want until you talk things through. BetterHelp offers convenient online therapy on your schedule. It's the same professional service you'd get from an in-person therapist, but with the option to communicate when and how you want, by chat, phone, or video call. Plus, getting started is easy. Just go to their site and fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist. If you don't find the right match the first time, don't worry. You can switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. Start on your own journey of self-discovery with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/youfirst today to get 10% off your first month. That's betterhelp.com/youfirst.
Hi, I'm Brian Bakhtiari, Executive Manager of Stevens Creek Subaru. Spring is finally here. From spring cleaning to spring training, and hopefully the end of the storms, everyone has something to look forward to during this season. This time of year is a reminder for all of us that it's time to get rid of the old and start fresh with the new. That's why Stevens Creek Subaru wants to help you get rid of your old car and put you in a brand new or certified pre-owned Subaru. Your car probably will never be worth more than it is right now. If you've been thinking of trading it in, come into Stevens Creek Subaru or StevensCreekSubaru.com to get a quick and easy Kelley Blue Book estimate for your vehicle. And we buy anything, whether it's a clean title or salvage, financed or leased, classic or commercial.
Stevens Creek Subaru now has the all-new, all-electric Subaru Solterra. They are also an official Kelley Blue Book buying center and will buy any vehicle regardless of condition, even if it's a lease or still has a loan.
Stevens Creek Subaru is easy to find in San Jose on Stevens Creek Boulevard, just off of Winchester near Santana Row and Valley Fair, or online at StevensCreekSubaru.com. And remember, buckle up and drive safely.
The reviews are in for McDonald's hotter, juicier burgers. Let's hear what Hamburglar has to say.
Rubble, rubble.
What our old friend Hamburglar said is, the patties are juicier. The bun is a thing of beauty. The cheese perfectly melted.
Rubble.
My burger dreams have come true. You heard him, folks. These are McDonald's best burgers ever. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Rubble.
Available at most restaurants in this area. Comparison of McDonald's classic burgers to prior burgers.
Discover credit cards automatically double all the cash back you earn at the end of your first year. Wait, hold up. Question for the audio engineer. Is this for real?
Apparently. See terms and learn more at discover.com/match.
I used to get frequent heartburn at night, so I made Prilosec OTC part of my morning routine.
1 pill in the morning, 24 hours, 0 heartburn with Prilosec OTC. It's possible while taking Prilosec OTC. Use as directed for 14 days to treat frequent heartburn, not for immediate relief.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMC FM at HD1 San Francisco. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
8 seconds to go. Curry with a dribble at midcourt. Runs over, gets doubled, pass over to Clay. Clay, a deep three, right side. Good! And a foul! He got fouled by Davis with 1.4 to go in the quarter.
Now back to Warriors Wrap-Up on 95.7 The Game.
Biggest shot that Clay hit in this ball game was that one. The 4-point play in the final second of quarter number 3. Capped a 35-23 Warriors quarter, put them up 10 going to the fourth, and the Warriors go on to win it 120-100 as the Warriors went from down 2 at the half to up 12, or up 10 rather, going to the fourth quarter, plus 12 in the third. One of just 4 buckets made from Clay, 2 of 10 from 3, but it was a huge one, and Klay Thompson didn't shoot it well, but how about a game-high plus 30 for Klay Thompson, doing other things even though the shot wasn't falling and he got off to a bad start, and a big part of the reason why the Warriors are moving on to round 2. 888-957-9570. Back to the phones we go. Omar in Oakland gets us rolling here in hour number 2 on Warriors Wrap-Up on 95.7 The Game. Hey, Omar. Oh, we lost Omar. Mike in Daly City. What's up, Mike?
Yeah.
that shot by Clay was the biggest shot by anybody in that game. That just was a big relief. By the way, the Warriors are 4.5, and the total is 227 in Game 1.
Okay. Good looking out, Mike. I appreciate that. For those of us that I may need a day and a half to get over this series and get on to the next one, but I appreciate you pushing forward and getting the info, man.
Yeah, but I just want to say that the main thing that the Warriors did that they pretty much haven't done all year, maybe 8 or 10 games you could find that they did this all year, just getting back on defense. You don't have to steal the ball. You don't have to stop them from getting to the hole for 24 seconds. Just stop them from getting a layup after you score. That they did a better job. They had 2 or 3 by Murray, I think. But in the past, they've had like 10 of those every game, and it really is a killer, and they pretty much got rid of those today. I thought that was a big deal.
Yeah, they did, and I think that's a really astute point. They sometimes you just you don't have to send everybody after an offensive rebound too, which can affect your transition defense. But one thing that Steve Kerr pointed out was the fact that the Warriors' offense put them in better position to defend. And, it was a little sketchy at times in the first half, some bad shots, especially some quick ones early in the game. But as the game went on, the Warriors really meticulously got into their offense and made Sacramento work. And they still weren't making shots other than Steph, but they were getting enough offensive rebounds and then making the Kings defend again for 20 seconds and then getting the rebound again. And I think they broke the Kings in that third quarter, just with the relentless pressure that Kevon Looney put on the offensive glass, and slowing the tempo down allows you to get back on defense. And that, coupled with the fact that the Warriors didn't turn the ball over, the Warriors not turning the ball over was also key. 7 turnovers, the fewest in a playoff road game in franchise history. And so some of that is ball pressure, and I know there's been this debate as to how great the Kings' defense was in this series versus how many unforced turnovers the Warriors had and how sloppy the Warriors played, and that was on full display in Game 6. But the fewest in a playoff game in franchise history, tied for the second fewest in a playoff game since 1971. And so the Warriors ended up with 7, and yeah, impressive stuff for the Warriors. As they wind up getting the win in this one by 20. Let's go back to the phones. We'll keep it moving with Daniel in Belmont. What's going on, Daniel?
So I am a huge Warrior fan, and my favorite player is Steph Curry, like a bunch of you. Like, I don't see much Sacramento Kings, and Curry is just like my dream. I want to become Steph Curry. He's so cool. He's like, oh, can I have the ball? Give me 3. Bang! He just makes all the shots. He's so cool.
Thanks, Daniel. Appreciate it. Good call from Daniel. Yeah, that's pretty much what he did today, and it's what he's done a lot throughout the course of his career. And what kid doesn't want to be Steph Curry in the Bay and really around the country? No doubt about it. Well summed up right there from Daniel in Belmont. Daniel, have a wonderful Sunday and enjoy the school week coming up here. I know you'll be headed to school and feeling a lot better about things than you would have had the Warriors not won this game today. Ken in San Leandro, 888-957-9570. Ken, you got some big shoes to fill here following up Daniel. What's on your mind, brother?
You got that right. I'm 65 years old, originally from Phoenix. Was wanting Phoenix to win a championship my entire life. Then in 96, Phoenix never did it, but in 96 I moved to the Bay Area and I get to watch the Warriors. And they did some things when they got Bogut back in the day. I was like, wow, these guys are heading in the right direction. And I've always been a fan of the big man and the guard. And I've watched some great guards play the game. But I have to say that today, Steph Curry showed me he was the best guard I've ever seen play. And Kevon Looney, awesome big man play. Awesome. Thanks for taking my call, sir.
Yep, you got it. And you never know. Might be the Warriors and the Suns coming up in the next round, although Denver got the jump on them last night. And, yeah, today was pretty much all about Steph Curry and Kevon Looney doing it in the ways that they best do it and leading the Warriors to a huge Game 7 victory. 888-957-9570. Let's go over to the press conference room inside Golden One Center here in Sacramento and give everybody a chance to hear the head coach of the Warriors, Steve Kerr, as he addressed the media following this Game 7 win over the Kings.
Before I take questions, I want to say congrats to Sacramento, to Mike and his staff and his team. They were incredible. Had an amazing season, and this was a fantastic series. I mean, just great basketball for 7 games. They've had, frankly, a much better season than we have. We've been kind of up and down all year, as you know, and they put together a whole season where they just became a contender. And the young talent, the coaching, it was impressive to watch and really difficult to play against. So congrats to the Kings. We are thrilled to move on, and there's a lot to discuss. I think the first two things that come to mind are Steph Curry having 50 points in a Game 7, never been done before, incredible, and Kevon Looney just keeps doing it every game. 21 boards tonight, 10 offensive. I thought he controlled much of the game with his offensive boards. I think Loon is one of the best centers in the league. I really do. And people don't recognize it because he's not dunking and shooting threes and all that stuff. But this guy is a flat-out winner, and he's a machine. And we wouldn't be here without him. So with that, I'll take questions.
Steve, were you drawing up stuff to get Steph the ball, to Steph open, get Steph shots, or was that just Steph finding it?
The biggest factor offensively tonight was our spacing. And in Game 6, our spacing was a disaster. And the whole focus yesterday was looking at film, seeing why there was nowhere to go, and we were just cluttered. So I thought today we spread the floor really well. The guys were really disciplined, and that gave Steph more room, but he's the one who went out and made the plays. So we just were smart. 7 turnovers for the game, 25 assists. We just made simple plays over and over again. And we talk about it all the time. We usually don't do it, but today we did it. And that's what we had to do to win this series.
Steve, a lot of people talk about championship DNA, and sometimes that talk kind of elicits rolls of the eyes and, is there really such a thing? Did we just see that?
No doubt. Game 7, Game 7s are difficult. You saw how many free throws were missed, by both teams. These guys are all human, and everybody's nervous, and so there's a need to have experience in Game 7s, and our guys have that, our core guys. And I think what it takes is just taking the game possession by possession, which our guys did beautifully tonight. Not thinking about the outcome, just thinking about the process and repeating and repeating and repeating and breathing during the timeouts and staying locked in and staying focused. And our guys did that. But they've learned to do that through a decade of, these type of games. So the most impressive thing to me with Steph, Clay, Draymond, Loon, Andre, to do this for a decade, it's incredible. The energy that it takes to fight off challengers year after year and to have to prepare and win big games and doing it over and over again. It's a reason these guys are Hall of Famers and champions. This is not a 1-year flash in the pan. This is a decade that they've done it, and it's incredible to watch.
Steve, a couple times you were caught on TV talking to Steph on the sidelines. Can you tell us a little bit about what you were saying to him? And also, You've seen him a lot. So does he ever surprise you, what he does?
He doesn't surprise me. We all take him for granted because he's brilliant night after night, and we've been watching this for 10 years. And we just, you just have to remind yourself every once in a while, big picture. This is one of the great players in the history of the game. But that's how I felt, back when in my playing days, with Michael Jordan. You'd see it night after night, so you just took it for granted. So that's how it is with Steph. It's over and over and over again. And the resilience and the work that goes into that and the focus, it's incredible to watch. I guess we were just taking a lot of timeouts. You asked about what our discussions were. It was just about getting rest, and we took a few timeouts during the game just to get him a chance to breathe, and our other guys. All I remember saying to him and the group was just focus on the next possession and don't worry about results. Just keep doing all the things we've talked about all series long, rebounding, taking care of the ball, possession after possession. And if tonight was the best game plan discipline that we've had all year for sure, and one of the great games that I can remember since I've been here in terms of being that locked in for 48 minutes, and that's what it took.
Tony Harvey, NBC Sports Radio. Coach Kerr, the other night, that 11:30 regular season on the road record, that's distant memory. You done won the last 2 straight in this building on the road. Did it kind of like justify, what you meant the other night when you won here, that this is what your team looked like, when they're all together and they're all healthy?
Yeah, but the other night, that's what our team looks like sometimes too, in Game 6. And it's not easy to do this, to have a performance like this. You can't do that every night. So there are going to be letdowns. And the other night, we played poorly, and Sacramento was great, and that's why we had to come in here and do what we just did today. But that's what the playoffs are about. You have to be able to bounce back and respond and win on the road, and our guys have been doing that for a long time.
All right, so Steve Kerr there with his thoughts on the big Game 7 victory. We got full phone lines, so let's get back to it. 888-957-9570. And we'll keep it rolling here with Safe at third in San Francisco. What's going on, Safe? Hello, Safe at third. Are you there? Gone. Vince in San Jose. Hey, Vince, you're on Warriors Wrap-Up on 95.7 The Game. Vince, turn your radio down. All right, let's put Vince on hold. Rafi in Berkeley. You're here on Warriors Wrap-Up on 95.7 The Game. Hey, Rafi.
Hey, JD, how you doing? Always a pleasure.
Good, appreciate it. Thanks for calling in.
I love the game. I loved watching, or I mostly listened to it, really. But, before the series started, I called in and talked to some of the guys, Signing Guru, and this series also was my fear, and maybe you could speak to that, in that high usage, high minutes on our core, and I don't think we can. I don't know. I'd love to hear what you think about it. I don't think we can keep going on through the playoffs and think that we can play our guys this many minutes, especially when we start to go back to back. I think you're starting to see it a little bit. And, Steph dug real deep tonight, I think, to do what he did, but I just don't see that happening for another series. So I'll take your thoughts off the air. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thanks, Rafi. Look, the high usage and all of that is part of the deal if you want to try to advance. And I'm with you. I thought Steph did dig deep and bring something special to the table to enable the Warriors to close this thing out and ultimately win it. But there's a fine line between, do you want to bring more players into the equation and risk losing, which I think would have been the case had the Warriors done that to any greater degree than they did in this series. I think if the Warriors do that, they lose this series. So they didn't, and that's the fine line. And we've seen the Warriors do this to other teams as the playoffs have gone on over the years, where they make these other teams be high usage teams, and eventually they break down and or run out of gas. And it's been a big part of the Warriors' secret sauce as the better team through the decade for the most part. And so, yeah, this series was an excellent series, and it was a beautiful game today, and a high-level, fun-to-watch series top to bottom. But this series is going to take a pound of flesh from the Warriors moving forward. It will make the next series harder to win. And it already has, just based on the fact that the Warriors are now in this stretch of they're going to play every other day and already have been playing every other day for the duration of the next series. And if that series goes 6 or 7 games, they're probably going to do it in the conference finals, should they be fortunate enough to advance and play well enough to be able to advance. And so it is a catch-22 in that, do you ride it out with the main guys and the guys that you trust at the risk of it breaking down or the wheels coming off or you run out of gas? Or do you try to implement other players and then risk the fact that you may get down in some of these series or lose based on the fact that you're not playing your best players for the greatest amount of time? I thought the Warriors balanced it as well as they could in this series, towed the line at times, but did enough, obviously, to be able to prevail in the series. I think if you're looking for times to try and mix in more players and limit the minutes, I think it's the first couple of games of this next series at home. I think it's this week. You try to dial it back a little bit. I think really the first 3 games, assuming you're not looking at an 0-2, you can play with it a little bit. But once you get into game 4, and especially 5, 6, and on, you really have to cut down to who your best players in that particular series are, and you have to let the chips fall where they may. And if the wheels come off the wagon, then it's not meant to be, and you tip your cap, and you weren't a good enough team to survive and advance. And so it's part of the story of the playoffs that every team deals with. Who's playable at the beginning, who has the best game plan, which game plan gets flipped completely over on its ear, and which team can push through and fight through the tiredness to be able to advance. And the Warriors, fortunately for them, were able to do it. Edward is next here on 95.7 The Game. Edward, thanks for calling Warriors Wrap-Up. You're on with JD here on a Sunday afternoon. Edward, are you there? Did we lose Edward? Looks like we lost Edward as well. Hussein in Oakland. What's up, Hussein?
Yeah, I'm here. How's it going, man?
What's going on, Hussein? Yep.
What's going on? Yeah, I just want to comment. It sort of hit me in today's game. I watched Stephen Curry get drafted, and you get used to, the radio hyping up your local guys. I was a fan pre-Curry, hyping up Ellis. But today it hit me that we get the privilege of actually rooting for a top 10 player. I had friends who grew up in LA and rooted for Kobe, in the early 2000s, mid-2000s. And, when you're a local guy, you see him grow up, go through adversity, ankle injuries, and he comes out and drops a 50 burger. I'm Muslim. We just finished up Ramadan, and I had to eat early with a 50 burger. It's just absolutely crazy. And there's a lot to comment on our depth and that sort of thing, but to watch this, to me, this is his second-best performance in the playoffs after Game 4 in Boston. I'm just in awe of the man. It's one thing to be amazing. It's another thing to do it consistently. Shout out to Curry and everything he represents for the Bay. I'm just proud fan today.
Yeah, it was spectacular. And that was sort of the conversation here in Sacramento after the game, Hussein. It was the fact that, where does it rank among the all-time great Curry performances and also the all-time great Game 7 in any series performances, especially a non-finals type Game 7. And so you look at it, and Steph goes for a playoff career high. He had 47, 50, and the most points ever in any Game 7 in NBA history. And so, to me, I think you could make the case that non-finals, this was the best playoff game of Steph Curry's career, especially given the circumstances and the Warriors being ground down to a point where it looked like they might break today physically because of the stress of the whole series and the level of play that the Kings put on them and all of that. And so for Steph to basically put this team on his back from an offensive standpoint, the question coming into today, we talked about it on Warriors Live, who's going to come along for the ride with Steph? Who's going to join the party with Steph? The Warriors were going to have somebody be able to do it, and they really didn't. Yeah, they had 4 in double figures, but the next high scorer for the Warriors in this game was Wiggins with 17. Clay had 16 and was 4 of 19. Wiggins was 5 of 16. Klay Thompson and Andrew Wiggins couldn't make a freaking shot at all in this game. Wiggins 1 of 5. Couldn't make free throws. 6 of 10 for Wiggins. They did get a couple of buckets from Jordan Poole. Poole hit a couple of big threes, and all of his minutes felt like a high wire act today, but they got just enough out of Poole to make the rest of it work with all the different substitutions. But there wasn't really a secondary guy that came along for the ride with Steph. It was just Steph was the first and the second guy in this one. He went for his 25 or 30 and then went for another 20 on top of it. He was number 1 and number 2, and then you had Wiggins and Clay and Looney a little bit with some of the tip-ins and the like to get to 11. And you add it all up, and it winds up being enough. But, yeah, unbelievable. 5th Warrior to score at least 50 in a playoff game. Wilt Chamberlain did it 4 times. I mean, think about that. Wilt Chamberlain, these are the 5 Warriors to score 50 in a playoff game, and the first 3 names before you get to Curry are incredible. And then you've got the one outlier player in what was a memorable game as any. Wilt Chamberlain, Rick Barry, Kevin Durant. Warriors to score 50 in a playoff game. I mean, think about it. We're talking all-time legendary greats. And then Sleepy Floyd did it on Mother's Day in 1987 in the Sleepy Floyd is Superman game with the huge quarter and everything that went along with it there. But, yeah, just spectacular stuff from Steph Curry. And the Warriors needed every bit of it, and he provided it. And it was one of those afternoons where I think Warrior fans are never going to forget this one because of everything that was on the line and the 18-series Western Conference playoff winning streak that now becomes 19, avenging what was one of the more perplexing and ugly defeats in Game 6 with a chance to close the series out against the Kings on Friday at Chase, and moving on to get another crack at LeBron and the Lakers. I mean, this was up there. This might have been an all-time playoff game from Steph Curry, non-finals, with the 50-piece and leading the Warriors to victory. And again, we mentioned this earlier, second player age 35 or older to score 200 points in a playoff series. Michael Jordan is the other. He did it in a couple of playoff series in 98 in both the Eastern Conference Finals and the NBA Finals. Just incredible stuff from Steph Curry. All right, back to the phones we go. Let's give Safe at third another shot here in the city. What's going on, Safe?
Hey, can you hear me?
I got you loud and clear.
Okay, my brother. It's a great show today. And people, if you're real Warrior fans, why worry? Win or lose, it's about trust. And the Warriors players trust one another after almost being together 10 years. And you got a coach that's been with them for the long haul. And everybody has remembered the players that they played against are like 22, 23, 24. Plus, on top of it, they got Mike Brown. Now, it's going to be different when they go down there and play against, Ham and his crew in the King James. It's going to be good. I'm not saying they're going to go out there and blow them up, but it's going to be very interesting. It's going to be a different game. So trust in what 10 years of being together as brothers. They're brothers, man. It's all about trust. And they trusted one another. It doesn't matter how many points they scored or didn't score. It's about trust, doing your job. And Steph did it, what he did, because he could trust that they were going to do what they had to do. Points or no points. They did it. I was real proud of them today. If they don't win another game, today's game showed me how brilliant Steve Kerr's coaching is and how they follow behind Steve Kerr, how they are. Trust, man. It's all about trust. Have a great day.
Yeah, appreciate it. And yeah, Steph leading the way. And you're right. Even though it was ugly at times, especially offensively, they did have that trust to continue to grit and grind and push their way through. And you add it all up, and it's enough for the Warriors in that third quarter when the game was kind of hanging in the balance to be able to impose their will. They imposed their will with the defense and the rebounding and with Steph Curry and a little bit of Klay Thompson on the 4-point play at the end of the quarter to ultimately prevail. 888-957-9570. We're going to take our final break. Jose, TC, Dave, Vince, you're all coming up. We'll also hear from some more players in the postgame interview room as the Warriors beat the Kings 120-100, and you heard it right here at 95.7 The Game.
Are you curious about who offers the best deals on top-rated Samsung, LG, and Sony TVs? The answer is surprising. It's not online, and it's not the warehouse clubs. The best deals on top-rated TVs are at Video Only. Don't believe it? Then check out the trade-in deals at Video Only. How about $500 for your old TV? Try doing that online. Before you buy that new TV, drop into Video Only. If you don't, you'll be sorry.
Mom, Dad, Sis?
Here we go again.
Why are you in a suit? Picture, if you will, a world with the best network imaginable. I'm talking about the Xfinity 10G network.
Go on.
Mom, remember how your reality shows wouldn't load with all of us online? Now you can binge. And Susie, we'll have fast internet in the basement.
Nice.
If you have any questions, here's my card.
This is just your name on a gum wrapper.
Introducing the 10G network only from Xfinity. The future starts now. Now through June 21st, new customers can get 200 megabit per second internet on the next generation Xfinity 10G network for just $25 a month for 2 years. Plus, there's no annual contract required, and you get Wi-Fi equipment included. Go to Xfinity.com/10G, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Requires paperless billing and autopay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Taxes and fees extra. After promo, regular rates apply. Actual speeds vary.
Wendy's $3 breakfast deal is a bacon or sausage egg croissant plus small seasoned potatoes for $3. It's the breakfast that don't miss. So if you did miss Wendy's breakfast, don't imagine. Fresh cracked eggs, sizzling sausage, crispy bacon, and block out those hot, buttery, flaky croissants. Croissants don't really make a sound, but if they did, for a breakfast that don't miss, Wendy's is that breakfast. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's $3 breakfast deal.
Limited time only. Participating U.S. Wendy's. Select a request $3 breakfast deal to obtain discount. Not valid for a la carte or combo orders.
Are you kidding me? Gas prices are up again? Somebody has to do something.
Well, someone did. That's why I use Upside.
Upside? What's that?
It's a free app that pays you back real money for every gallon of gas or diesel you buy. I just earned 25 cents back on every gallon of this tank.
Hold on. So the Upside app is free and you actually get cash back every time you use it? No strings attached?
Yep, it's awesome. Check it out. It only takes a couple of minutes to sign up.
Instead of just watching your dollars go into your tank, start putting money back into your wallet with the free app from Upside. With the price of gas today, it's big news and big money. To cash out of your Upside cash, just transfer it to your bank account, PayPal, or a gift card. Upside users have already earned over $200 million. Now it's your turn. Download the free Upside app and get cash back on every gallon of gas. Use promo code GOLF for an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first fill-up. That's code GOLF. Use code GOLF for an extra 25 cents per gallon back in your first fill-up. Cashback's not available in gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Getting to know yourself can be a lifelong process, especially since you're always growing and changing. But deepening your self-awareness is the key to a happier, more fulfilled life. Therapy is all about that process of self-discovery, because sometimes you don't know what you really want until you talk things through. BetterHelp offers convenient online therapy on your schedule. It's the same professional service you'd get from an in-person therapist, but with the option to communicate when and how you want, by chat, phone, or video call. Plus, getting started is easy. Just go to their site and fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist. If you don't find the right match the first time, don't worry. You can switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. Start on your own journey of self-discovery with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/YouFirst today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp.com/YouFirst.
Can you imagine a rainbow of flowers?
In a crystal blue sky.
Filled with music.
And all your friends are there.
And everyone is laughing with joy.
And the whole world is clean and sparkling and singing like Pavarotti.
Put on your wings and fly.
Invite us to your house.
We'll only be there a few minutes.
Our clean and shiny trucks haul away your distractions.
And leave your home sparkling with joy.
All you have to do is point.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
Or visit 1-800-GOTJUNK.com.
Tune in to 95.7 The Game for Warriors Live, 60 minutes before tip-off of every Warriors playoff game. Brought to you by the Next Generation 10G Network, only from Xfinity. The future starts now.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-777-1979. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-777-1979. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-777-1979. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds, too. Call 800-777-1979. 800-777-1979.
Curry holding his pivot foot, dribbles on Murray, takes a quick three, it's up and good! Curry knocked it down! He's got 43. 183 Warriors.
Now back to Warriors Wrap-Up on 95.7 The Game.
Part of the put-away run down the stretch, Warriors 120, Kings 100. Dubs take the series 4-3. It's John Dickinson back here for one more segment as we keep this thing going all the way up until Bay Area Panthers football, which is coming up at 6 o'clock. 888-957-9570. From Golden One Center again in Sacramento. And I should take the opportunity to thank everyone on the Sacramento Kings public relations staff. Of course, the Warriors PR staff, tremendous, with Raymond Ritter and Brett Winkler and Michael Ravina and Cole Lawrence and everybody else. Christina Peterson, everybody does a terrific job on their staff. But I do want to thank the Kings public relations staff as well for allowing me to be able to do Warriors wrap-up here after each of these 4 games in this series from Sacramento. Just a terrific job. They set out a little side room that's nice and quiet and away from everybody to where we could do a bunch of shows. Did 4 pre- and post-game shows, did a Warriors This Week show here, did a bunch of hits during some practice sessions during the first couple of games of the series. And that wouldn't have been possible without the help of the Kings PR staff and allowing it and making the room. So Michael Martinez does a terrific job. He's a young rising star in the public relations industry and in the sports media industry. So I really appreciate his help. Shannon Malone as well, and Avery Jacobs. Those 3, it was a pleasure working with them, as both teams in a lot of these series end up working with each other on different collaborative projects to be able to bring everything we bring to you here on a nightly basis. So big thanks to the Sacramento PR staff for helping everything get set up here through this series. Let's get back to the phones, 888-957-9570. Cooper and El Sobrani next here on 95.7 The Game. Thanks, Cooper. How you doing?
Hey, JD, so good to be on with you, brother. I was really enjoying listening to you on the way home from Game 5. I was lucky enough to take my pops there earlier this week, and it was just such a joy. And, I didn't know what was going to happen today, but, a lot of callers have already talked about things I wanted to bring up. One thing I wanted to bring up, because I was watching at my favorite bar in Rockridge in Oakland, everybody loves when Looney's grabbing offensive rebounds and giving us second chance points. And there's nothing like the bar going nuts when he gets that rebound, passes it out, and we hit a huge shot. It's so good, and I love Loon. And I'm just living in today, man, because who knows what's going to come with this Lakers series. It's going to be rough. They're a big squad, but I'm just loving today, and I'm just super thankful for my boys. Have a good one, brother.
Yeah, appreciate it, man. Loon and those kick-out threes. We talked about it at the beginning of the series. Nobody had more offensive rebound kick-out threes than Loon, and Sabonis was number 2 in the league. So that was a big part of this series, and Loon able to set up a couple of those. And, yeah, I think that was the thing. Game 5 was so spectacular. Game 6 was so vexing, I think, for Warrior fans. And it really put everybody on edge, I feel like, in the Bay for the last, 24 hours since it tipped off and the Warriors played so awful in Game 6. But I think, the one thing I think today showed, and that vulnerability among the fan base and thinking that this thing could end in a blink, because nobody was really expecting it to end in round one. But I think it did start to put things in a little bit greater perspective as far as enjoying the ride and not having the weight of, well, can they win the title? And if they don't win the title, it's a failure, and they might get broken up, and Bob Myers is gone, and Draymond might be gone, and Clay wants a max, and all that. Like, I think because it's a talking point and because of our jobs and, it's interesting, I think we get all bogged down in that. But I think the one thing the last 48 hours and maybe even the last 5 days have shown is just, embrace. Bruce Bochy used to talk about this all the time with his teams, and the Giants were on their runs, and kind of a message to the team, but really a message to the fans too. And look, I'm a caveat to the fans, being able to be at these games and being able to interact with the players and interviews and press conferences and all of that. And I just had thought to myself a lot in this series in the high pressure packed environments of Bruce Bochy, and how he would just always say to the team, but to the fans and just to everybody that was fortunate enough to be able to watch or cover or talk or write or whatever about these games, just embrace it. Embrace how much fun it is. And just how, one game you feel like the season is a complete loss, and then the next game you feel like this team might be able to make a run and win an NBA championship, and everything that goes along with the roller coaster ride in between. And the Warriors haven't really been a roller coaster ride over the last decade. This team, much more of a roller coaster ride. Maybe that helps Warrior fans. They can cope with it because they're coming off a championship. But I think for at least today, Warrior fans got lost in not worrying about how it's going to end, or whether it's going to get broken up, or even whether they're going to go on and win ring number 5. It was just something special and pure, and a win, and a vibe, and just a celebratory all-time great individual performance from Steph, but an all-time great just grit and grind performance from the rest of this Warriors squad, and I think that's something everybody can appreciate. Jose, next here on Warriors Wrap Up. What's going on, Jose?
An all-time great, just grit and grind performance from
Jose, turn that radio down for me, brother. Oh, we lose Jose. Jose, you there? Nope. TC in Lincoln. What's up, TC?
Hey, JD, how are you doing? JD, can you hear me?
I'm good, man. How are you? Out in Lincoln, yeah, I got you. Out in Lincoln, out east of Sac?
Yeah, shout out to Lincoln. JD, my God, you're on fire today. I can't agree more with a single thing you said. And the energy, the callers are great, but I don't agree with all of them. And I have to take exception to the guy that was talking about minutes and how it's going to affect them and minutes. And oh my God, they got to play 40 minutes. JD, you've played some ball, right?
Yes.
On the playground, at least, if not high school, whatever, at college.
High school was the end of my limit, but yes, I did play in high school.
And you played out on the playground where you'd go out. Okay, we'd go out for hours on end. Okay. So my buddy comes to me and says, come down, play at this church, $5, and we're playing for 3 hours, and there's no scoring. No scoring. There's no score. And I'm like, that doesn't sound like much fun. Who wins? Like, how do you figure out who wins? And he says, come down and try it. So I went down there. I ran up and down that court in Berkeley, man, and we would run up and down. I was 35 years old. We'd run up and down for 2 hours. I'd come out for a minute or two. It's not that hard. These guys, that's all they do. They run up and down the court.
Thanks, TC. There's a little more to it than that. I appreciate the call. There's a little more to it than that, but I do think, and Steve Kerr pointed this out in his pregame press conference today, he said, once you get to Game 7, a lot of that weight, you're able to push through. The weight of the grind of the entire series and the cumulative effect of it. He says he thought it plays more in different games of a series as opposed to Game 7. It's not nothing, but I do think it's something. And one thing, if this Warriors team can get to a point in the next series where they can taste it, I think they might have the ability to push through another series, but then it just gets tougher as it goes on. Like, that's just very real. I also, though, wonder if there comes a point for this team, if they get to where they're close enough to where they believe that they can still win the title. Like, I don't think they're there yet. Like, right now, I think it's just survival and advancing and getting to the next day and what's the next matchup going to look like. Like, to me, that's where the Warriors sit right now. But there could come a point, probably not even in the Lakers series, it probably would have to be winning the Lakers series and getting to a conference finals, where Warriors may say and start to believe that they can win it. And I think at that point, maybe they hit another gear and something, they're able to get a little bit of juice from that might be able to get them through a conference finals. And then you see what's left for the finals in your matchup at that point. And it's a whole different animal. But then you're getting a little more time in between games. There's 2 days off before every game in the finals, except for one. I'm getting way ahead of myself, but the point is it's not nothing. All of the games in basketball and cumulative impact that the Warriors faced in this series impacting the next one, it is going to be a factor. There's no doubt about it. It is going to be a factor, and the next series starts on Tuesday, and those games are going to be every other day for the duration. Dave in San Mateo, 888-957-9570. Hey, Dave.
JD, it's a privilege to be on with you. Your insights are always remarkable.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
I have a simple question, and I'll take my answer off the air. JD, would you rather have a 27-year-old Kevon Looney or a 27-year-old Ben Wallace?
I'd have to go back, Dave, and look at what year that was of Ben Wallace's career. Do you remember off the top, or are you already gone? We lost Dave already. I'd have to look at Ben Wallace's, was that the 2004 Defensive Player of the Year, Ben Wallace? I think I'm rolling with Steve Kerr and what he said post-game, and that is, he thinks Kevon Looney's one of the best centers in the game, and look, there's really only a handful, 3 to 5 great centers, right? You've got Jokic, you've got Embiid, and Domantas Sabonis, if it wasn't announced already, is going to be third-team All-NBA at the center position. So the Warriors just went up against the third-best center in the league statistically. The guy was an all-star. He's been a 3-time all-star. And Looney held his own and did his thing. And the Warriors held their own and did their thing against him. So, I think one thing that does make Steve Kerr bristle from time to time is the fact that everybody kind of bitches and complains about the fact that there's no centers or no bigs on this Warriors team. And when that happens, it's something that's been brought up, and sure, maybe the Warriors could have had a better big the last couple of years as a backup, a more traditional, think Alex Len for Sacramento that can get in there and clog it up and play a few minutes here or there. But Kevon Looney's a damn good big, and Kevon Looney has showed in the playoffs over and over the years why he is a damn good big, and he did it again in this series. You could look at top to bottom and the numbers. Sabonis ended up putting up numbers today and put up numbers at different points in the series. But here's the reality. The Warriors won the center matchup in this series, now that it's all said and done. We were talking about the back and forth between Steph and Fox and who ends up being the best player in the series, and Steph cemented that in a big way today with the 50, and the Warriors winning the series, obviously. But who won the center matchup in this series? The Warriors did. And they made Sabonis unplayable at times. There were lengthy stretches of this series where the Warriors were the Warriors were more vulnerable when Sabonis wasn't even on the floor, including in Game 6. And so you look at that as where Looney stacks up, and I think it's pretty self-explanatory. Sal in San Francisco next here on Warriors Wrap Up. Hey, Sal.
Hey, what's going on? I just want to say I was courtside watching the game, and Looney is a beast. Man, the way he was battling. And you was right. It seems like the Kings was better without Sabonis on the floor. And to me, I feel like Looney, he was the guy. He was the key for this series.
Huge. I think beyond Steph, Looney was the second most important player of the series, top to bottom. When he did what he did in Game 3 without Draymond, and then Draymond comes back and he does it again in Game 5, And then the performance, I mean, he was their second best player today behind Steph Curry, and they needed every bit of it. Vincent Martinez is going to be the final call. Then we'll hear a couple of minutes of Steph and Curry, and we'll call it an afternoon. Hey, Vince. Oh, we lost Vince. All right, that'll do it as far as the phone calls. Good news is, though, we get to do it again on Tuesday because the Warriors are moving on. Let's go back to the interview room here at Golden One Center and hear from the man himself, 50-piece Wardell Stephen Curry.
Steph, congratulations on the win tonight and on 50 points. Historic. You keep making history in these games. What went through your head at the start of this game, knowing that you were going to have a loud crowd to do the game that you did tonight?
This has been it was a really fun series. It was tough from game 1 to game 7, and it was, kind of a vibe of different adjustments from game to game. And based on how game 6 went, we knew that they were probably going to stick to the same kind of formula, playing mostly small, different rotations. And that allowed us to kind of go back to the drawing board on how we wanted to attack their defense and keep the game as simple as possible and to the pace that we like it. And that was a lot of pick and roll, a lot of just organized offense that gave us a good start. We got some good looks to open up the game, and that allowed us to connect our offense and defense together. We say that a lot, and that's a big part of who we are and how we were successful. So for me, it was just about being aggressive in that scheme and being as consistent as possible. And obviously, I got up 38 shots for a reason because, we started to see where the holes were, and I could be ultra aggressive to get looks, and it worked.
Steph, in the first half, you missed the 2 free throws back-to-back, and the next couple times you went to the free throw line, the cameras were on you. It looked like you were smiling, almost, beaming, I guess you could say. But what was that about? Why,
Attitude can manifest a lot of things, and I told Q on the sidelines I've missed 4 or 5 free throws the last 2 games. Not like me, but never overthink it. Just enjoy the moment. So the smile was intentional and trying to just be in the present, and as simple as it is, it's just trying to make a free throw. So I like to have fun with it.
Steph, Draymond just referred to Malik Monk, saying you guys were old, and might have been referenced in other places. How much motivation do you get out of that? How much is this team that's been together for so long has won so much just trying to kind of fight back people saying it's over for you guys?
I think the competitive spirit's always in us, and we didn't need any sound bites to motivate us, but it did help to know, they thought they had something in the sense of the pace that, they tried to get the game to in game 6, and, that was a talking point for them. But at the end of the day, we knew who we are, and, these last 36 hours to regroup and try to figure out, what our adjustments are going to be and how we wanted to come out. We had a great talk yesterday and great film session, and there's still nerves and anxiousness and anticipating a big night. But when we get out there, our experience took over and felt pretty comfortable from the jump. So it was a great experience.
Steph, it looked like late in the game in particular, you had some things to say to the crowd, and you even motioned looked like you were lighting the beam. Just what goes through your head in moments like that?
I mean, it's just the playoffs. There's so much built into a series, especially when you go 7 games and, the fans get into it, and especially, the Bay Area, NorCal kind of situation, their first time in the playoffs in a long time. So you just get, all that stuff kind of comes out when you get the job done. Sometimes you're on the wrong end of it. Sometimes, we had a lot of experience of winning series, so you just let all that out. It's this is hard. This is winning at this level. There's a lot of narratives and commentary throughout game to game, and you're trying to block it all out and just focus on basketball. But at the end of it, there's fun with it too.
Steph right here. So obviously you just carried the team. You got 50 points, and the Draymond just called you dominate the game. So who can stop Steph Curry?
Hopefully, we'll never find out.
Follow question: How does the NBA champion DNA make this team special and to handle Game 7?
You can always go into the memory bank of how you feel in these type of environments. Because like I said, there's still nerves and butterflies because it matters, and we love this atmosphere, and we've been doing it for a very long time. So once the ball drops, it's just playing basketball at the end of the day. And I think I said that after Game 6, you focus on the details of how you're trying to execute. You trust each other, everybody that's out there on the floor. We had great energy off our bench. Everybody who played came in with the right intentions. There's a lot of conversation and communication and togetherness on the bench, which is huge for us. And everything was connected. So when that happens and then you're on the court and you have clarity about what you're trying to do, good things usually happen. And it was a great time to kind of put it all together on the road in Game 7.
Any early thoughts on Lakers series and just how schematically different you expect that to be?
They're totally different. The Kings present a lot of different challenges. We know Bron really well. Played him a couple times, I think, since the trade, and they look extremely different. So I know they're playing good basketball, and it's weird, a 6-7 seed series. We get home court advantage, so we got to take advantage of that. But they're big, and we got to be able to have everybody, locked in on our preparation over the next 48 hours. And even if guys didn't get much run in this series, that's the nature of the playoffs. Move on to a different team, a different style. Everybody's got to be ready to make those adjustments on the fly.
All right, so Stephen Curry there. Some thoughts after his 50-piece Warriors win Game 7, and the Warriors now with the 19 consecutive playoff series wins against Western Conference teams. Longest streak going all the way back to 84-88 Celtics as well. The Warriors getting it done in elimination games since 2015, 7-2, 4-0 on the road in elimination games for the Warriors. And want to give a nod to Gary Payton II. 4 blocks, most in a regular season or playoff game in his career. His previous high was 2. That'll do it. We'll talk to you Tuesday. For Sterling Bennett, everybody in our San Francisco studios, I'm John Dickinson. Warriors get the job done 120-100. We will talk to you from Chase Center at 6 o'clock with Warriors Live on Tuesday, Game 1 of Round 2. But Bay Area Panthers football is coming your way next. We'll talk to you Tuesday right here, 95.7 The Game.
When you're an innovative business, every blinking cursor, every blank page is an opportunity. What will you do with it? Will you make something better or create something new? Our Dell Technologies advisors provide you with tools and expertise to do incredible things. Because we believe there's an innovator in all of us. For advice on smart PCs powered by Intel V Pro that's built for business, call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL.
At Total Wine & More, save big on what you love this month with hundreds of deals. Get up to 35% off over 100 different wines and spirits, including Cabernet, sparkling wine, single barrel bourbon, and so much more. These savings are huge, and even better, they're on top of prices that are already the lowest in town. Deals this good don't last long, so visit Total Wine & More to find yours. Find what you love what you find, at the lowest price, only at Total Wine & More. Drink responsibly, B21.
So what are you reading?
I'm checking out the ratings on the new TVs, and it looks like Samsung, LG, and Sony got the best scores.
Just like last year. What about those new high dynamic range TVs?
They got the highest scores of all, but their prices are really high.
Did you check online?
Yeah.